the most colorful palette. I can't. Whatever. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, Perfumed Vegas, although it's not perfume today, it's Eyeshadow Vegas, because I'm doing the eyeshadow palette tag. I was tagged by Joss Jane, and I will link her video down below, but the reason I wanted to do this tag is because I actually really love makeup. I really love eyeshadow, blush, highlighter, bronzer, lipstick, oh, the works, even foundation and concealer and powder. I mean, before I started making more perfume related content on this channel, I was making a bunch of, definitely making more makeup related content, tutorials, reviews, all sorts of things. There's still a foundation review on my channel that has some views, has some opinions on it. There might be some tutorials, eyeshadow tutorials that are still on my channel. But once I started getting really into perfume, I switched my focus to making videos about perfume. So I haven't made any serious makeup related videos for quite some time, several months at least, although I still do have some skincare and like routines type of videos up. This is the first time I've done a makeup focused video in some time. I used to be a huge collector, and recently I have gone through and I've purged my collection. I have a ton of stuff that I'm throwing away. Everything that I could, I've donated or given away. So some of the things that I had before, I've gotten rid of. So there were some answers that might have been different previously, but it's 2020, baby. We're going forward full steam ahead with perfume and not looking back into the past with makeup. So with that, let's get started. The first question is, what is your newest palette? Ugh, sorry about my nails. Oh my god, they're horrible right now. I have to get them, like, redo them. But anyway, that's not here nor there. My newest palette is the Violet Voss Oh Snap. This came out last holiday season, and these Violet Voss mini palettes I love. I have quite a few of them. Oh wow, that was... So these Inception, these Violet Voss palettes I love. I have quite a few of them. I'm trying not to show you my pantslessness. I picked this one up during the November sale or October sale of last year, 2019. They're not that expensive. I believe they're $18, and I just thought that this one was super pretty for the holiday season. So, look, ignore what you can see reflected in my mirror. It's cracking me up. So, yeah, I actually do wear this one quite a bit. I love the fact that it has a black, that it has a burgundy, that it has these nice browns here, and then this has this bone color. So, I really like this palette. That is my newest one. I actually have not gotten any eyeshadow palettes since then. My oldest palette is the original Urban Decay Naked palette. This is the original. This was from their very first release of the Naked palette. And no, I'm sorry, the first release sold out, and then this was the second release of the Naked palette. This is what it looks like on the back. I have had this for at least 11 years, if not longer. It's not even my most used palette, but in late 2009, I had my home burglarized, and part of what they stole was my makeup collection, which at the time was able to fit into one makeup storage bag, and they just took the whole bag. So I had to replace all of my cosmetics, and I had heard how popular the Naked palette was, and I liked Urban Decay products. I've mentioned before, I had products from them way back in the day with the Sin perfume oil. So I decided to get this when it was in stock again, and I got it at the Sephora store inside of I believe it was inside of the Miracle Mile shops here in Vegas. So yeah, that's my oldest palette. I wouldn't declutter it. I have no problems working with these shadows still. They work fine for me. Sin is my favorite eyeshadow color of all time. Yeah, that's it. The most expensive palette that I own is the Natasha Denona Eyeshadow Palette 28 in Green Brown. And that's the one that looks like this with the white pleather packaging and comes like this. And this palette cost $208 when I purchased it. I do not regret it for the world. Like, I don't regret it. I think this is a gorgeous palette. These colors are all extremely creamy. They're buttery. They're easy to work with. I love this formula. Actually, all of these formulas, whether it's satin, matte, shimmer, or glitter. I love this palette. I wish I had gotten the blue purple one then too, because I know that the newer versions of Natasha Denona eyeshadow palettes come with a newer eyeshadow formula, and I actually had purchased the Sunset palette and I had to return it because I didn't like the new formula. There's nothing wrong with it. It was just not what I expected from the brand, and so I don't buy their eyeshadow palettes anymore, but this I love. Yeah, $208 or $228. It was over $200 for an eyeshadow palette. Yeah. Crazy, right? Crazy. So, moving on. Most affordable. I have multiples of this brand's 8-pan palettes. It's the Essence All About Eyes. I think they're called All About Eyes, but they have All About Toffee. I have All About Toffee, All About Nudes, and All About Vintage. And these are $8 at the drugstore or Target, anywhere that sells Essence Ulta. These All About palettes are really, really good. So usually you'll find that they have a row of shimmer or satin shades and a row of satin or matte shades, depending on which palette it is. And they have at least 5 that I know of. The 3 that I mentioned, and also an All About Nudes and an All About Grays. Not All About Nudes, an All About Rose and an All About Grays. And then I think they may have added even more to their collection. All About Toffee is my favorite because if you can tell, these are kind of a grayish brown. They're like a cool toned brown on the bottom with this pinkish highlight color, and then more of warmer neutrals on the top. And they go between being shimmery and satin finish, so they're actually, like, none of them are flat matte. I also really like the All About Vintage, which has a more of a green tone. So these Essence palettes are really good. I do have a video. I did have a video. I might still have a video. If I do, I'll link it in the card here, which is talking about if this is the best drugstore palette, in my opinion. Spoiler alert, it is. So that was our most affordable palette. The everyday eyeshadow palette that I use. And this is kind of a catch-22 because we have both the everyday palette and the most used palette. And so these two, like the two that are these answers are probably in combination my most used. But for everyday, I have the Pulp Fiction Urban Decay palette. It actually has 5 colors in it, 4 pans, and I just find this exceptionally easy to use for every day. I'm going to take the brush out. I tend to leave those brushes in. I don't know why. This Bone Matte color, Righteous, and this brown shade, Tyranny, they're really easy to just pop on the lid and call it a day. And then if you want to do a little depth, you can throw in Vengeance here in the crease or along the lash line. And then you have the split color of Furious/Anger, which is a shimmery white and a matte black. So you can really make it deeper or more bright. Just really, it's amazingly versatile, and I didn't expect to like this palette. I actually didn't purchase it when it first came out. You can see that just like disappeared, when it first came out, I really didn't expect to like it, but when it went on clearance, I think it was on clearance for $18, or $12, something really insane. And then I had a coupon and I ended up getting it for probably under $10. And I mean, my God, for that price, it's so worth it. These are like top quality Urban Decay shadows. This is the type of shadow that I expect from the brand. Super creamy, buttery, pigmented, easy to work with. Even the darker colors are very easy to work with. And with this sort of matte palette, it's pretty much a no-brainer for an everyday eyeshadow palette. So I would say this would be my everyday if I had to choose. This or one of those Essence ones, probably. The next is the Most Colorful palette. The Most Colorful palette is actually one that I have left. After I decluttered all of my eyeshadow palettes, I got rid of my Anastasia Beverly Hills Artist palette. I decluttered that, and so that was my most colorful palette before, I think. Otherwise, all the rest of my palettes have mostly neutrals, maybe with a pop of color, except for this one. This is my most colorful palette now. It is the Marc Jacobs Style Icon number 7, the 210, the Siren palette. And this was a limited edition. I don't know what this is, but it's like not a mark. It's like a discoloration of the plastic. But this palette itself, let's see, there we go. So this palette has white, red, orange, yellow, turquoise blue, and a dark hunter green. Basically a rainbow of colors, and I never use this. And I have 2 of these Marc Jacobs Icon palettes, and I never ever wear them. So I should probably declutter them, but I think they're really pretty to look at, actually. It has its little like cover, it looks like that. So yeah, that is my most colorful eyeshadow palette. That was a mouthful. My smallest eyeshadow palette, actually I have a full little 5-pan Dior palette that's like, it's like this big, like the size of a $quarter, US $quarter. But I can't find it because it's just in with all my stuff somewhere. So my smallest eyeshadow palette that I actually have out, that I actually use, is the Natasha Denona, the Mini Star palette. And this is really nice. It's super tiny, and it was so affordable for being Natasha Denona. I think this was, if the Violet Voss is 18, I think this was 25, which to be honest doesn't sound affordable for how much product you get. But this particular one at least has the same high quality formula for the shadows. So you get 2 matte and 3 glitter shades. Is that right? Yeah. So they are, yeah, they're like full glitter shades and 2 matte. But I just find it really easy to use when I want a more dramatic look, but I don't want to have to be like blending and playing with a ton of color. Plus, I think it's adorable. It's like the size, half the size of my hand practically. I can't even explain to you how small it is in real life, but it's so cute, and it was a lot smaller in real life than I expected it to be, and I was like, oh. So, because you know how we really like little things, at least some of the time. Yeah, that was probably my smallest palette. The biggest palette, bigger is not always better, because my biggest palette is the Morphe 35W. This is actually being decluttered. This is in my declutter pile of eyeshadows. I just don't understand why with Morphe. If I hadn't gotten this for like less than $10 with an Ulta coupon, I would never purchase this. Like, all of these shades look the same. There's like 2 different ones here, 2 different ones here. These all look the same. These all look the same. These all look the same. It's just, ugh. So it says 35. This top row is literally all the same shadow. They look a little bit different in the pan, but when you try to put them on your eye, they look exactly the same. So I don't know why Morphe even tries to play that these are, like, you're getting 35 shadows in this, because you're really getting only like 7 colors in 35 different variations. It's really annoying. That is, however, my largest palette. It is not my heaviest palette. That honor belongs to Natasha Denona. Nevertheless, moving on. My best memory. That is my MAC palette. This is my 25 pan. Is it 25? 1, 2, 3. No, 15 pan. 25. Oh my god. My 15 pan palette. This is really old. I've had it for quite some time, and this just reminds me of when I was first going back to school and was getting to just be more independent. I wasn't having to be tied down to a job 24/7. Like, it was really, I felt very alive and very freed during that time period. And I had, created this MAC palette with colors of my own choice. Of course, it was fill your own pan palette, and so I was able to do the neutrals, all the neutrals that I loved here. I did some warmer neutrals and some reds here, and then I did some cooler neutrals, blues and greens. And I just love this palette so much. I love the layout. I love how each row can be used across or down. So you could do this trio, you could have some fun with this trio, you could use this trio, you could do something creative here or here. You can really just kind of take it however you want it. And when I was picking the colors and just going through their catalog and choosing, I was really looking for things that were going to just inspire me creatively, artistically, and just really be fun to wear. And I've just been so happy with this palette. My most used color is Blanc type, this one, and then after that is probably Swiss chocolate, which is here. My favorite colors in this palette are Club here and Deep Damson here. So yes, I love doing a cherry eye, I love doing a red, or like a burgundy eye with cranberry, deep damson, and then a little bit of mythology on top. Anyway, best memories are in my MAC 15 pan custom palette. Worth the hype. What is worth the hype? Well, I will tell you. Anastasia Beverly Hills Modern Renaissance palette. This is worth the hype. This thing is still worth the hype. I mean, I don't know if they've changed their formulas or now. I honestly just, I had so much makeup, and I still do, that I rarely use the same palette every day. But this one I've had for a while. I got it a little bit after it was first released. I didn't buy into the hype right away. But you can see that I've definitely made a dent in some of these shades. Maybe. Well, kind of. But honestly, I think this is a beautiful palette, and with blue eyes, I really like oranges and reds for my eyes when I want to wear color. I feel that is the most flattering for my eye color. This shade, Tempera, is an amazing brow bone shade, and these two glitters, Vermeer and Primavera, are so good, these two. And I really, really love the brushes that come with these Anastasia palettes. I don't know why. I have like 5 or 6 of them that I collected that I just keep because I'm obsessed with them. Anyway, the Modern Renaissance palette is probably the only ABH that I would have said was worth the hype. There are some I've never tried though, so can't really go into those. But of the ones since then, that's the only one. One that was not worth the hype. Holy crap, I didn't even add anything for this. Let's take a look. Let's take this because it's right here and I hate it, but I keep it because I love Las Vegas. This is the Vegas Nice Stardust palette from Too Faced. Any Too Faced eyeshadow palettes are, for the most part, not really worth the hype. I have both the Sweet Peach and the chocolate, the hot chocolate or whatever one it was, the one that smells like chocolate. I like those. Those are better quality than these that come in the plastic or than these that come in the cardboard paper pans. These are usually very poor quality. So this particular palette, I went through a big, just like I had to fight tooth and nail with Too Faced to get my palette, because I bought it in a bundle and I was supposed to receive with a bunch of other like little gifts, and when I got the items they were damaged, so they were supposed to send me a new one and they didn't, so they refunded me. But I didn't want a refund, I wanted the palette. So they said they were going to send me the palette. They didn't. Like a year later, they finally sent me the stuff. So the Vegas Nay Stardust palette, unfortunately, I don't think it's that nice. I don't think it's that good of a quality. I do like this top row of matte shades, but that's about it. And they're so basic that they could be found in just about any palette. So I keep this because it's Vegas and I like that sort of vibe, but that palette and any of Too Faced pan palettes that look like that with the cardboard are not worth the hype. Don't do it. It's the same thing with Nikki Tutorials. Don't do it, girl. Don't do it. My favorite palette for my favorite brand, my favorite eyeshadow brand is probably Urban Decay, and my favorite palette is actually the Urban Decay Naked Smoky palette. Why do I love this palette so much is a really good question. There's just no real explanation. I love the mattes. I love these glitter colors, and this shade here, Dirty Sweet, is one of my favorite eyeshadow colors from Urban Decay. I love this brown. That one is Radar. I love the glittery gray here, Armor, sorry. This glittery gray here, Armor. These four in the middle, I could kind of take or leave, but I like mixing these ones up enough to make up for it. I could throw some of like Black Market in the corner to make it a little bit deeper. I could probably, even though this isn't an everyday palette for me, if I had to pick just one palette to keep and use every day, I would probably choose this or the original Naked, simply because they're the easiest. And for me, I pretty much like to wear a more dramatic eye. So for me, this sort of style is more what I get on with. So that's my favorite palette from my favorite brand. And then my most used palette is like nothing I've talked about liking the most, and it is from ColourPop and is the Double Entendre palette from ColourPop. This is one of the 12 pans, I believe. What is that? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. 4, 12. Yeah, so this is one of their 12 pan palettes, the plastic, the cardboard, no mirror, nothing, the Double Entendre, but I use this more than any other palette. I just find it very easy to reach for, very easy to make the kind of look that I want. If I want to go with a more of a reddish tone, they have this deep kind of burgundy brown. If I want a more neutral, there's some neutral, deeper neutral colors. This one has glitter in it, but on the skin, the glitter doesn't really show up, so I can blend this into the crease no problem. And then these shimmery colors are actually so nice. The formula of them is really creamy and reminds me a lot of the Super Shock shadows, but you don't actually have to deal with the Super Shock shadows. You can use them with a brush. So the ColourPop Double Entendre palette is my choice for the most used. So that is the eyeshadow palette tag for you guys. I hope that you enjoyed. I'm not sure who to tag for this, so I won't specify, but if you want to do this video, please consider yourself tagged. I'd be happy to see it. Just let me know down below and I will come check out your just let me know down below and I will come check out your video. I am super happy that you have joined me today, and I hope to see you again on the next one. Bye.